Hi there coffee lovers, I'm going to show you how we roast our Brazilian coffee beans here at Sidewalk Coffee Roastery. This is going to be a super basic overview of how we do this, but you can copy this model and experiment with it for yourself. So we start off by heating up the roaster. Don't rely only on the sensors, touch the surface of the outside of the roaster or it might be too cold. Just because the sensors are saying that it's warm inside doesn't mean the whole machine is warmed up. So your temperature might drop down a lot harder if the whole machine isn't warmed up. So the temperature at which we drop the green beans into the drum is called the charge temperature. So our charge temperature is about 180 degrees C, and it will drop down to about 50 degrees, which is called the turning point, where the sensors start to move up and the temperature starts to increase. As you roast the same coffee bean over and over, you'll want to note how long it takes to get to that turning point. This is really important because it shows how much those beans are absorbing the heat, and so you can make adjustments to your roast based on the density and the water content of the beans. An important thing to note here is you don't want to start at a too high temperature because then you get scorching or tipping, which is where you burn the outside of the beans. So from the turning point, as the temperature continues to go up, we call this the drying phase. This is where the moisture of the bean is being dried out, and they tend to go from a green to a pale yellow color during this phase. So we found that the drying phase doesn't really affect the taste of the bean in the end. So we should get to the end of this process as quick as possible without scorching or tipping the beans. So once the beans have gone to a pale yellow phase, this is what we call the browning phase. Now the browning phase has a big effect on the flavour. If you roast fast during this phase, you'll get more of the natural flavours and acidity and brightness from the coffee beans. If you roast slowly, this will take longer to develop the sugars and will result in more caramelization, resulting in sweet and chocolatey flavours. As we get to the end of the browning phase, this is where we hear the first crack. You'll hear a few start and it sounds a little bit like popcorn, but what you're looking for is when they all start to go together, which we call the chorus. Now all of our coffee at Sidewalk is roasted past the first crack. We don't send out coffee that isn't roasted to this point. There's also a second crack, but we never roast to this point and we don't send out beans that have been roasted this dark because then it's developing smoky and charcoaly flavors, which are not as enjoyable as the sweeter chocolatey flavors that we like to roast to. Plus there's a moderate fire risk, which we just don't think is worth it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and hearing about how we roast our coffee at Sidewalk. If you'd like to try our coffee beans, you can go to the link in the description below, where you can also find green coffee beans that you can roast yourself at home. We'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel, and if you have any friends who are interested in coffee and coffee production, how it's made, and how you can get an amazing coffee at home, please tell them about our channel as well.